What if I revealed that the foods you consume during evening hours could actively function to stabilize your blood glucose while you sleep, and that selecting appropriate foods before bed could help you awaken with fasting readings 20 to 30 points lower than you're experiencing currently? Most diabetics focus on avoiding sugar during daytime hours. They count carbohydrates at breakfast, measure portions at lunch, stress about dinner, but they don't think strategically about what they consume in the evening and how those choices affect their overnight glucose regulation and morning fasting readings. Your physiology continues processing glucose throughout the night. If you consume foods that spike blood glucose in the evening, you'll awaken with elevated fasting readings. But if you consume foods that stabilize glucose and support insulin function overnight, you'll awaken with superior numbers. I've witnessed patients who incorporated specific foods into their evening protocol and observed their morning fasting readings drop from the 170s to the 140s within 3 weeks. I've witnessed others who continued consuming inappropriate foods at night and struggled with high fasting numbers regardless of pharmaceutical intervention. Welcome. I'm Dr. Thompson, and I've spent over a decade helping people understand how evening food choices directly impact overnight glucose regulation and morning fasting readings in diabetics. Today, I'm going to reveal 10 foods that help stabilize blood glucose overnight and support superior morning readings. Not because these foods are miraculous, but because when consumed consistently in the evening, they provide nutrients enhancing insulin function and glucose regulation while you sleep. Before we explore these 10 powerful foods, I'd love to connect with you. Where in the world are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's inspiring to see our community gathering for better health outcomes, and knowing we're learning together makes sharing this research even more meaningful. And if you're new here, subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss future content. Now, let me share a patient story that demonstrates exactly why evening food choices matter so profoundly. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 71 when she came to my office, and her morning fasting blood glucose was consistently problematic despite reasonable control during daytime hours. "Every morning I wake at 172 to 182, she said, showing me her glucose log. "But during the day, I'm acceptable. After breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, my readings are in the 150s. It's exclusively the morning that's terrible." This pattern, elevated fasting readings with superior daytime control, often indicates that something about the evening protocol is affecting overnight glucose regulation. I asked about her typical evening meals and snacks. "Dinner is usually fish with vegetables around 6:30. Then around 8:30 or 9 crew, I get hungry and consume a snack. Usually crackers or a granola bar, sometimes fruit like grapes or a banana. Those evening snacks, crackers, granola bars, grapes, and bananas, were all high glycemic foods, spiking her blood glucose in the evening and affecting her overnight glucose regulation. Her body was processing that sugar throughout the night, and she was waking with elevated readings. "Margaret," I said, "what you consume in the evening directly affects your morning fasting reading. Those snacks are elevating your blood glucose before bed, and your body is struggling to process that glucose overnight." She looked surprised. "But I'm hungry. What am I supposed to consume?" We switched her evening snacks to foods that stabilize blood glucose instead of spiking it. A handful of walnuts with berries, Greek yogurt with chia seeds, vegetables with hummus. Foods that provide nutrients, satisfy hunger, but don't create glucose surges. 3 weeks later, her morning fasting readings had dropped to the 160s. 6 weeks later, they were averaging 148. "I cannot believe changing my evening snack made this substantial difference," she said. "My daytime readings are identical, but my mornings are completely transformed." 4 months later, her fasting average was 142, and her A1C had dropped from 8.4 to 7.7. Today, I'm going to reveal which 10 foods function like Margaret's new evening snacks did. Food number 1, leafy greens. The first food helping stabilize blood glucose overnight is leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. Leafy greens are extremely low in calories and carbohydrates while being abundant in fiber and magnesium. The fiber slows glucose absorption, preventing spikes. The magnesium supports insulin function and glucose metabolism. Research demonstrates that low magnesium levels contribute to insulin resistance. By consuming magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, you support your body's ability to utilize insulin effectively overnight. A serving of 1 to 2 cups of leafy greens in the evening provides substantial nutrients with minimal calorie or carbohydrate impact. Barbara was 72, and her evening readings before bed were often elevated at 178 to 188, which affected her morning fasting numbers. We added a large salad with dinner every evening. Spinach, mixed greens, vegetables, olive oil dressing, nothing complicated. Her evening readings started decreasing within 10 days. Her morning fasting readings improved from averaging 175 to 158 within 4 weeks. "The salad fills me up so I'm not hungry for snacks later," she said, "and my numbers are superior." Food number 2, avocados. The second food supporting overnight blood glucose stability is avocados. Avocados provide healthy monounsaturated fats, improving insulin sensitivity and slowing glucose absorption. They're also rich in fiber and potassium. The fats in avocados help you feel satisfied, which reduces late-night snacking on high-carb foods. And the potassium supports healthy blood pressure. Half an avocado, approximately 100 grams, provides substantial benefits without excessive calories. Robert was 73 and struggling with evening hunger, leading to poor snack choices. "I consume dinner, but by 9 p.m. I'm starving, and I end up consuming crackers or bread." We added half an avocado to his dinner, either sliced on his salad or mashed on whole grain toast as part of his meal. The healthy fats kept him satisfied through the evening. His late-night snacking stopped. His morning fasting readings improved from 179 to 153 within 5 weeks. Food number 3, chia seeds. The third food helping regulate blood glucose overnight is chia seeds. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds provide 11 grams of fiber, primarily soluble fiber that slows digestion and moderates glucose absorption. They also provide omega-3 fatty acids, reducing inflammation and improving insulin sensitivity. Chia seeds form a gel when mixed with liquid, which creates a feeling of fullness and slows stomach emptying. Patricia was 69 and experienced blood glucose spikes in the evening, affecting her morning readings. We added chia seeds to her protocol, 2 tablespoons mixed into Greek yogurt as an evening snack, or stirred into water and consumed 30 minutes before dinner. Her evening readings stabilized. Her morning fasting average dropped from 172 to 149 within 7 weeks. Food number 4, nuts. The fourth food supporting stable overnight glucose is raw nuts, particularly almonds and walnuts. Nuts provide healthy fats, protein, and fiber that slow glucose absorption and improve insulin sensitivity. Almonds specifically have been shown in research to improve glycemic control. 1 serving, about 23 almonds or 14 walnut halves, provides benefits without excessive calories. David was 74, and his evening hunger led to consuming cookies or ice cream before bed, spiking his blood glucose overnight. We replaced those snacks with a small handful of mixed nuts, about 1 ounce, consumed slowly. The protein and fat satisfied his hunger. His evening glucose spikes stopped. His morning fasting readings improved from 184 to 157 within 5 weeks. Food number 5, berries. The fifth food helping regulate blood glucose is berries, particularly blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. Berries are rich in fiber and antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, improving insulin sensitivity. They're also lower in sugar than most fruits, with a lower glycemic impact. Half a cup of mixed berries provides sweetness and nutrients with approximately 10 to 12 grams of carbohydrates, which is manageable for most diabetics when consumed with protein or fat. Linda was 72 and craved something sweet in the evening. "I want dessert after dinner, but everything sweet spikes my blood glucose." We added berries to her protocol, half a cup of mixed berries with a tablespoon of almond butter or with Greek yogurt. The combination satisfied her sweet craving without creating spikes. Her evening readings stayed stable. Her morning fasting average improved from 169 to 152. Food number 6. Greek yogurt. The sixth food supporting overnight blood glucose stability is plain Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt provides protein that slows carbohydrate absorption and stabilizes blood glucose. It also contains probiotics supporting gut health, which research links to improved insulin sensitivity. A 150-gram serving of plain Greek yogurt provides approximately 15 to 20 grams of protein with minimal carbohydrates. Before I reveal the next 4 foods, can I ask you something? If what you've learned so far is making sense, hit that subscribe button right now. I create these videos every week for people managing diabetes, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Stephen was 75, and his evening snacks were often high-carb crackers or pretzels, spiking his blood glucose before bed. We switched him to Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds as his evening snack. His evening readings stabilized. His morning fasting dropped from 177 to 150 within 7 weeks. "The yogurt keeps me full all evening," he said. Food number 7. Cinnamon. The 7th food helping regulate glucose overnight is cinnamon, a powerful spice containing compounds enhancing insulin sensitivity and slowing carbohydrate digestion. Cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols, improving how your cells respond to insulin, allowing glucose to be absorbed more efficiently. Research demonstrates that consuming 3 to 6 grams of cinnamon daily, approximately half to 1 teaspoon, can improve fasting blood glucose by 10 to 15 milligrams per deciliter in some diabetics. Cinnamon also slows the rate at which carbohydrates break down in your digestive system, creating a more gradual release of glucose into your bloodstream rather than sharp spikes. The key is using Ceylon cinnamon rather than cassia cinnamon if consuming it regularly, as cassia contains higher levels of coumarin, which can be harmful in large amounts. Susan was 70, loved having something sweet tasting in the evening, but knew sugar was problematic. "I want dessert after dinner, but I know I shouldn't consume it." We added cinnamon to her evening protocol. 1 teaspoon stirred into plain Greek yogurt with a few berries, creating a naturally sweet-tasting dessert without added sugar. The cinnamon satisfied her sweet craving while actually helping stabilize her blood glucose. Her evening readings stayed in the 150s instead of spiking to the 180s. Her morning fasting improved from an average of 175 to 157 within 5 weeks. "The cinnamon makes the yogurt taste like dessert," she said. "I don't feel deprived anymore." Food number 8. Apple cider vinegar. The 8th food supporting blood glucose control, particularly when consumed before dinner, is apple cider vinegar. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar improves insulin sensitivity and reduces post-meal blood glucose spikes by slowing stomach emptying and carbohydrate absorption. Research demonstrates that consuming 15 to 30 milliliters, approximately 1 to 2 tablespoons, diluted in water before dinner can reduce post-meal blood glucose by 20 to 30 milligrams per deciliter. The key is dilution. Never consume apple cider vinegar undiluted, as the acidity can damage tooth enamel and irritate your esophagus. Mix it with 8 ounces of water and drink it 15 to 30 minutes before your evening meal. Edward was 76, and his post-dinner readings were consistently elevated at 192 to 205, which affected his overnight glucose regulation and morning fasting numbers. We added apple cider vinegar to his protocol. 2 tablespoons diluted in water, consumed 20 minutes before dinner every evening. His post-dinner readings started decreasing within 1 week. After 3 weeks, they averaged 172 instead of 197. After 6 weeks, his post-dinner was 164, and his morning fasting had improved from 179 to 159. "It's such a simple intervention," he said. "I drink it before dinner, and my evening numbers are completely transformed." Food number 9. Lentils and beans. The 9th food helping stabilize blood glucose overnight is lentils and beans, legumes providing a powerful combination of protein and fiber. A serving of 100 to 150 grams of cooked lentils or beans provides approximately 15 to 18 grams of protein and 10 to 15 grams of fiber. This combination slows glucose absorption dramatically, reducing the glycemic load of your entire meal and preventing evening blood glucose spikes. The protein in legumes also helps maintain stable blood glucose through the night by providing slow-burning energy that doesn't spike glucose. And the fiber supports healthy gut bacteria, which research increasingly links to improved insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Lentils and beans are also rich in magnesium and folate, both supporting metabolic health and blood glucose regulation. Dorothy was 68, and her evening meals often centered on white rice or pasta, which spiked her blood glucose before bed and affected her morning readings. We replaced her evening starches with lentils or black beans. A cup of cooked lentils with vegetables and olive oil became her standard dinner, or black beans with salsa and avocado. Her evening readings dropped from the 108/8 to the 158 within 3 weeks. Her morning fasting improved from averaging 177 to 152 within 7 weeks. "The lentils fill me up more than rice did," she said, "and my numbers are substantially superior." Food number 10. Dark chocolate. The 10th food that can support blood glucose management when consumed in moderation is dark chocolate with 70% cocoa or higher. Dark chocolate contains flavonoids, particularly epicatechin, that improve insulin sensitivity and enhance blood flow. Research demonstrates that consuming 20 to 30 grams of dark chocolate daily can improve insulin function and reduce inflammation. The key is choosing chocolate with minimal added sugar. Look for versions with 70 to 85% cocoa, which contain less sugar than milk chocolate while providing maximum flavonoid content. Dark chocolate also contains magnesium and healthy fats supporting metabolic function. And the rich flavor satisfies sweet cravings with a small portion, preventing overconsumption of higher sugar desserts. Arthur was 73 and struggled with intense evening sweet cravings, leading him to consume cookies or ice cream, spiking his blood glucose dramatically before bed. We replaced those desserts with 2 small squares of 85% dark chocolate, about 20 grams, consumed slowly after dinner. The intense chocolate flavor satisfied his sweet craving with far less sugar. His evening glucose spikes stopped. His morning fasting readings improved from averaging 182 to 157 within 5 weeks. "I actually prefer the dark chocolate now," he said. "It's richer and more satisfying than the cookies were." Your 30-day challenge. Let me tell you about Richard. He was 77, had been managing diabetes for 14 years, and his morning fasting readings averaged 182, despite being on 2 diabetes medications that should have been controlling his numbers better. "I don't understand what's occurring," he said, showing me months of glucose logs with consistently high morning readings. "My daytime readings are acceptable. After breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, I'm in the 160s or 170s. But every single morning when I wake, I'm at 178 to 192. My doctor wants to add a 3rd medication, but I'd rather address this with diet if possible." This pattern, reasonable daytime control but persistently high morning fasting readings, almost always indicates that something about the evening protocol is affecting overnight glucose regulation. I asked him to walk me through his typical evening in detail, starting with dinner and continuing through bedtime. Dinner is usually around 6:30 p.m. Chicken or fish with vegetables, maybe a small portion of rice. That's acceptable. My reading 2 hours after dinner is usually around 162 to 172, but then around 8:30 or 9, I get hungry again. I'll consume crackers, maybe with cheese or pretzels, sometimes an apple or a banana, and then maybe more crackers before bed around 11 sornais because I don't want to go to bed hungry. There it was. His dinner was reasonable, but his evening snacking routine, crackers, pretzels, high glycemic fruits, more crackers, was creating blood glucose spikes throughout the evening that his body was struggling to process overnight. He was essentially giving himself multiple glucose surges between 8:30 p.m. and bedtime, and his pancreas was working overtime all night attempting to manage that sugar, leaving him with elevated fasting readings every morning. "Richard, I said. What you're consuming between dinner and bedtime is directly causing those high morning readings. Your body is processing all that sugar overnight and cannot reduce it to normal levels by morning. He looked surprised and somewhat defensive. But I'm hungry in the evening. What am I supposed to do? Just go to bed hungry? No, I explained. You need to consume different foods in the evening. Foods that satisfy hunger but don't spike blood glucose. Foods that actually help stabilize glucose overnight instead of elevating it. We changed his evening protocol completely. After dinner, if he was hungry around 8:30 p.m., he consumed plain Greek yogurt with half a cup of berries and a tablespoon of chia seeds mixed in. If he was still hungry later, a small handful of almonds, about 15 to 20 nuts, consumed slowly. Nothing else. No crackers, no pretzels, no fruit alone, no mindless snacking. The first week was challenging. The yogurt doesn't feel as satisfying as crackers, he complained. But I encouraged him to give his physiology time to adapt. Your taste receptors and hunger signals have adapted to expect those carb-heavy snacks. Give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, his morning fasting readings had started dropping. I'm waking at 169 instead of 182, he reported with cautious optimism. 6 weeks later, his morning fasting average had dropped to 158, a reduction of 24 points from baseline. 4 months later, his morning fasting readings were consistently in the 150s, averaging 151. His A1C, which had been stuck at 8.6 for over 18 months, had dropped to 7.9. His physician was surprised and pleased. Whatever you're implementing is functioning, the doctor told him. Let's continue monitoring and hold off on that third medication. 14 years of managing diabetes, Richard said at his 4-month follow-up appointment, and high morning fasting readings every single day for at least the last 4 years. I tried everything. My doctor adjusted my medications multiple times. Nothing worked. And changing what I consume in the evening, just that one intervention, addressed it. My morning readings are superior to what they've been in years. His experience demonstrates exactly why I wanted to create this video. Most diabetics don't realize that evening food choices have a direct, measurable impact on morning fasting readings. They focus on avoiding sugar during daytime hours.